Welcome to Facts Not Fiction. Join me this Thursday the 19th for another Facebook Live at 7:30 p.m. sharp. Yes.
What time, boy, Victor?
7:30 p.m. sharp.
But down by you, have fire, flood, tornado. It's only PNM down there, boy, and them people still voting PNM. What you gonna tell them Thursday night?
Makrashe, Kazem Hussein, Kennedy, You all could run, but you cannot hide. Join me this Thursday as we deal with issues that affect this country. I'm out.
The UNC, we coming for all you. All you feel all you have safe seat. No PNM safe politically. Victor Robert, 7:30 on the dot Thursday. Bless.
Blessing, welcome. Blessing to all. Pleasant good afternoon to all. Indeed, it's always a privilege to have you on board. We want to welcome you, all our viewers, our listeners. We are thankful for you. We honor you here this afternoon on this program, Facts Not Fiction. Indeed, we welcome you locally, internationally, and also regionally. Today, as usual, we will bring to you the facts. The facts. No fiction. Unlike this government, which continues to perpetrate against this nation fiction, and having those who choose not to use their intellects convinced that what the government is portraying, it is facts. Well, today I will help you to understand and to see a little differently. So I want to start off, first of all, I am seeing here that official commissioning of the Chatham Government Primary School. The story said here, after 7 years, the children of Chatham Village and environs can finally welcome their new school as Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley officially commissioned the new Chatham Government Primary School today, Monday, 16th August 2021. In February 2014, the 103-year-old school, plagued with numerous structural issues, was temporarily located to the ECCE Center at Heliconia Boulevard, Southern Gardens, Point 14, to make way for the demolition of the old and the construction of the new building. Today, the new building, which came in under budgeted, includes several classrooms, an audiovisual room, science lab, music room, and multipurpose hall, etc. The new building and additional space. The new building and additional space also allows for greater student capacity and can now facilitate more than twice the current enrollment. The Prime Minister in his feature address said the school is an important addition to the education infrastructure of Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Rowley said education is a primarily responsibility of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, where over time we improve the old with the new and smaller with larger and few with many. That is Dr. Rowley's statement. I want to go down a little further here to the Minister of Education, Dr. the Honorable Gaspy Dolly, also gave remarks saying education continue to remain one of this government's top priority. Minister Gaspy Dolly thanked students, teachers, and parents for their patience and said the new facility will provide modern opportunity for teachers and students alike. I want to stop right here. Ladies and gentlemen. I want to find out if these people, if this administration, if they're suffering with amnesia, if they're docile, if they just, I don't know, but something had to be wrong. Because you see, Keith Rowley have a tendency, ladies and gentlemen, to try to look good and to benefit from other sweat. That is what Keith Rowley does. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring to your recollection, you see, and this is what we must understand in this country. Politicians must be held accountable for the truth. Keith Christopher Rowley and his administration, they are strangers to the truth. I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the Chatham Government Primary School, this was a school that was started in January of 2014 by the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, then Prime Minister. Added to that, not only was this school started under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, but you will remember in September of 2015, when the People's National Movement was ushered in after the EBC declared the PNM victorious over the UNC, after the EBC had added additional time, when they realized that the PNM was in trouble, we have seen the EBC acted unconstitutional and added extra time, breaching the Constitution, allowing the PNM to be victorious in 2015. But while it is a matter for us never to forget, it is also water under the bridge. So in September 7, 2015, which is some 20 months from 2014 January to September, some 20 months, ladies and gentlemen, you could go back and look at the EFCL record, who had the responsibility for these schools after the mass corruption under the PNM administration, where Keith Rowley had to scrap the EFCL and then put MTS in charge of these facilities. All you remember the massive corruption in EFCL, which was appointed, the board that was appointed by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. All you remember? And after mass corruption in the EFCL, we, ladies and gentlemen, could clearly remember that when Keith Rowley stopped these buildings, all these abandoned schools that is hung up all over from Tonapuna to St. Joseph to Debe to Pinal to Siparia to Santa Flora, all over this country, millions of taxpayers' dollars growing up in high woods, growing up in bushes. And this Keith Rowley, ladies and gentlemen, gone down in Chatham on Monday and speaking about this school came in under the budgeted figure, which is a blatant lie. Because I will give you the facts here this evening. This school, ladies and gentlemen, which Gaspy Dolly is now saying that is equipped with all these scientific rooms and audio visions and multipurpose halls and sick bay and every other aspect in which Tim Gopi Singh, under the leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, had instituted in these schools. This building, ladies and gentlemen, was 85% completed according to the EFCL record. Don't take Victor Roberts' word for it. Go back and check the records. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Victor Alexander Roberts, was responsible for a number of protests to get these schools started back. I was leading protests in different areas, mobilizing by way of phone, speaking with people in Chatham while I conduct the protests at the Union School in Siparia to have these schools completed. SIPA Union School, according to EFCL record, was 90% completed in 2014. Chatham School was 80 to 85% completed. And while I initiated all those protests to have these schools completed, ladies and gentlemen, Rowley is now standing before you and telling you that this is the work of the PNM, bringing in a school under the budget allocation. Nothing could be further from the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, under the UNC, this school had with it an early childhood center on the compound. This school had also with it a state-of-the-art play facility, a proper savannah that would have been able to conduct proper track and field, proper football, proper cricket. All this was involved. I want you to go down Chatham and you will see that Keith Christopher Rowley government removed that early childhood center from on the property and also scrap the playing field. A matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, that school, the playing field next door, the land that was allocated for that area, it is also abandoned. So when you hear they come and they tell you that school come in under budgeted location, let me tell you something. This school was budgeted under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. A matter of fact, the money for these schools was also in the hands of EFCL, which was the Education Facility Company Limited. The cash for these schools was already in the hands of EFCL. So when Keith Rowley and the team, Gaspidoli, and all of them come down, and then Gaspidoli have the audacity to stand up proud and say that this government priority is about education, nothing can be further from the truth. Gaspidoli, I want to ask you and Keith Rowley something this evening. Since the PNM policy is education, how come we have so many unlearned children within the PNM constituencies? Let me break down that for the layman on the street. If you are saying that education is always the top priority of the PNM, how come we have so many dunce people within the PNM constituency? And Iowa George, I hope you're listening to what I'm saying. How come? That is what you must answer. So when all you're talking about education is the education that you speaking about, Gaspidoli, is 180,000 divided into two is 140,000. Is that the education that you're speaking about? When Keith Rowley say that half of 180,000 is equal to 140,000, is that the education? The education that you speaking about, Gaspidoli, is when your Minister of Health could stand up and say that the national watchwords of this country is every creed and race find an equal place. That is the education that you talking about. I agree that that is education PNM style. So when you're talking about education being a top priority, how come, ladies and gentlemen, that if education is a top priority of the PNM, how come they cut gate, they cut MIC, they cut NESC, they cut school feeding, they cut laptop, they cut textbook, they cut, added to that, we have over 70% of schools that was started under Kamla Prasad Bisesa abandoned all over Trinidad and Tobago. That is the education that this government talking about. Don't come on social media and carry all the press to waste people time and talk all that hogwash when coming to facts. Put the facts on the table. It would have been so pleasant to hear Keith Rowley say that this school, ladies and gentlemen, was started under the PNM. That is not the way to go, Keith. It would have been better if you stood up and you state, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, while you do not know what is the symptoms of horny goat wheat, but nevertheless, this school was started by the United National Congress, the partnership, and therefore, we are privileged to finish it. Come, Rowley, don't look for cheap political points or for something that you know nothing about. This is one of the school, Keith Rowley, that you tell the media. You hear Kamla Prasad Bisesa talking a pack of stupidness about 106 schools, and you ask the media to ask Kamla to find out where those 6 schools are located. And this is the part, this is one of the schools that Tim Gopi Singh provide for you, Keith. Like you're taking too much horny goat wheat, or you're spending too much time with that honey goat weed. Well, it's better I get some cushion instead, Rowley. The honey goat weed ain't making sense for you. That ain't making sense for you. It look like you're brain dead, Rowley. Because if you wasn't brain dead, you would have able to stand proudly and boldly and said, yes, my administration finished the school. The SIPA Union Presbyterian School, 90% in 2014. When you go to open that school next week, next month, or whenever you so desire, what are you going to tell we again? This is another facility by the PNM. Waste that time. Waste that time, 180,000 is equal to 40, boy. Waste that time, 180,000. By 2, it's 140,000. Waste the time to every creed and race, find an equal place as the national watchword. A pack of dunce at PNM. Let me say it again. A pack of dunce at PNM from Prime Minister come down. Dunce. But you're pulling ribbon. You're pulling ribbon. When you pull the ribbon, you should see by Kamla Prasad Bisesa, I bet you that drink a pint of honey goat weed. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about this government. This government is total failure. But you know what is sad? I always try to understand how come people can allow themselves to be fooled for so many years by an administration. I could never comprehend that. Never. I could never understand that. According to the Spanish, ¿qué pasó la gente? Ese gente aquí loco. Gente no entiende nada. Porque tú has un jefe. Aquí ese jefe no sirve. I can understand that. I can understand what is wrong with people in this country. They are seeing a black Maduro and telling themselves that it's a black Patrick Manning. They seen a black Maduro. Every policy resembled that the Venezuelan running from. Every decision resembled that the Venezuelan running from. Every single ideology is of that in which the Venezuelans are running from. The thing gets so bad that the Venezuelans run to Trinidad, and when they realize the policies and decisions that Keith Christopher Rowley implementing in Trinidad, they're running back to Venezuela. What does that tell you? That tell you that they realize that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is worse than Nicolas Maduro. Worse than Maduro. But let us move on. Let us move on. Pretty soon, they will be going to Siparia to open the Siparia Union School. They're going to open that school soon. And I wait patiently, because if you don't believe what Victor Robert's saying, you could go back. Go back on this Facebook, on my Facebook page, 2015. Go back to 2016, 17, 18. And you will see the number of protests that we carried out in Chatham and Siparia, respectively, to get the another 15% of Chatham completed and the another 10% of Siparia completed. This is facts, not fiction. So let's move on. Well, boy, you're seeing all kind of different disaster taking place in Labre and Point constituency. So first of all, on Sunday, the 15th, we were greeted with massive flood, ladies and gentlemen. Massive flood. I'm talking about my vehicle. Water actually reached to the bonnet of my vehicle. And I built that vehicle for that purpose, to deal with flooding. And let me tell you something. That flood even cost me $10,000. It cost me $10,000 to get a transmission. And I will tell you why. The quack, yes, the quack from Penal that raised my vehicle, that I paid $8,000 to have that vehicle prepared to deal with flood and any other disaster within our constituency. The quack that raised the vehicle left the air breather on the transmission exposed. That is what the quack did. And as a result of that, the transmission flooded. So I had to go and buy a transmission, $10,000, have it installed. And we up and running already. You know why? I will tell you why. We are about people. That is the reason why. So let us get into the business now. My problem is my problem. That is secondary. Let me talk about the people problem now. So we had severe flooding areas, Palosico settlement, better known as Sobo, parts of Quarry, parts of Lusbaro, parts of Number 9, parts of Palosico, inside Estiwell, inside Los Charo, inside Number 4 Road, inside Rifle Range, inside Number 7 Road, down by, down by the club, over the hill, Rancho Quemado, heavily hit. All down by the Rancho Secondary Government School, water. The Palo Seco Secondary School, I'm coming back to that just now. All down to Lawrence Sut, water. Straight down Happy Valley, water. Los Ciro, Carapal, water and oil. I'm coming to that just now too. So I better start coming up. I want to start coming up. Down to the Buenos Aires area, which is part Labre, part Point, all depends on which one of the election you are speaking about. Part Point, local election, part Labre, general election, all right? So we were out on the field from at least 6:15. We were bombarded by calls from every sector. I saw one idiot put up on Facebook, so why they calling you and they ain't calling the ODPM? So I may help you to understand. You know why they call Victor Roberts and the team? Because we respond immediately. So don't try to worry why they calling me and they ain't calling the ODPM. We call the ODPM for years. And you know what has happened? Those organizations are organizations that is reactive. They react to a situation. Okay? That is them. We are proactive. We put things in place so whenever a disaster comes, we could respond within the disaster. That is why we built a van. That is why we bought a small dinghy, a rubber boat. That is why we also have a small engine attached to it. So when these disasters come up, we could respond immediately to save the lives of our citizens in our constituencies. That is why they call me. Added to that, we were called to a landslide that cut off the road from Erie to Point 14. We respond to that landslide. Immediately, I contacted the chairman of the Brea Disaster Management Unit. And I want to congratulate Councillor for Mondesi. I want to congratulate Derek Bowen, the councillor for Mondesi, who is in charge of the disaster unit in SIPA Regional Corporation at this point in time. I also want to commend, ladies and gentlemen, the vice chairman, Mrs. Ramada Singh, who is now holding the portfolio since the chairman gone on holidays. But Derek Bowen, ladies and gentlemen, when I called Derek Bowen, I got an immediate response. A matter of fact, he said, Victor, I am at the corporation since around 5 p.m. this morning. 5 a.m., this morning, waiting to respond. He said, however, none of our vehicles could go through the flood. Where are you located? You notice he didn't ask if our vehicle could go through the flood because he knows that we prepare for this kind of disaster. And therefore, we left, myself and the camera crew, we left Buenos Aires and we went back to the area in Rancho Quemado where the backhoe was already waiting. Councillor Bowen was already waiting with a team. And we went down. They ride my vehicle and we went down. I also take along with me the PNM councillor, Arlene Ramdale. And as I said before, I will say again, when coming to disaster, don't ask me about who is PNM or don't ask me about who is UNC. When we respond to a disaster, we respond to people need. It matters not to me who is PNM, who is UNC, and who in between. Okay, so we get that out of the way. So I took up the counselor together with Arlene Ramdeo and other individuals, technical individuals, and we responded. The backhoe were able to pass through the volume of water, and we went to the team. So while we went to the area, ladies and gentlemen, immediately things happened. Shortly thereby, we were joined by the MP for Point 14, Mr. Kennedy. Of course, when we were joined by Kennedy and two councillors, they came to the site. The road was already clear, and we went on to the Erin district. Now, before that, ladies and gentlemen, I start down below, but I will have to come back and go back, okay? Before all this, we had and we extend condolences to the family of a lady that I know very well, who I would not call her name, and her family, a lady that we know very well, whose husband lost his life as a result of a landslide. So we went into the area with the landslide. We chose not to videotape that aspect of it because we believe that in these tragic moments, we believe to grant privacy to those who are bereaved so that they can express their grief in whatever form and fashion. So we choose not to bring that live. But we had responded to that situation also. So while we were down at the landslide, the discussion came up about this loss of life in the Rancho area. And so Kennedy, the MP for Point, decided that, look, he would like to go across and to see the damages on that side, which all of them ride my vehicle. And we took them across. When we took them across, ladies and gentlemen, a call came in that Minister of Local Government, Kazem Hussein, is in the area. So the call came in, and the minister asks if we can come to the Palo Seco Secondary School, where he was responding to a video that I posted early that morning with the bridge being compromised by the volume of water. He was at that scene. So we journeyed to the Palo Seco Secondary School, where we met the minister, standing in our tall boots. You know how the thing does go. Standing in our tall boots, waiting for the cameras. So we went in. We also met, Maclashe, the member for Labre, met us there. And so, if you look at a video I post, you will see Maclashe on the left side of my van on the runner board. You will see Kazem Hussein on the right side of my van, and you will see the MP for Point in the back of the vehicle together with some other PNM councillor and so on.
Yes, we called you and
So we responded. And as we responded, ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of Local Government said to me, you is the man that I hearing about. I hearing about you. And we had to talk. And I want you to take my cell number. Take my cell number. And give me a call, because you see, I is an action man. And you giving too much of trouble. You giving the PNM too much of trouble. A matter of fact, how come you're on that side? Meaning the UNC. How come you're on that side? Give me a call. We had to talk. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I continue, I thought it is necessary at this point in time for me to say to the minister that Victor Roberts' loyalty have no price attached to it. Let me say it again. You see, I am not, as some activists or so-called activists, or however you want to call them, you know. Victor Roberts' loyalty have no money attached to it. Let me make it plain. Nobody could pay me to be loyal. Nobody could pay Victor Roberts to be loyal. My loyalty doesn't carry a figure. And I want the Minister Kazim Hussein to understand. Look the video here. Look, you see I doesn't lie. You see I ain't lying for you. Look the minister right here with me. Look me there. Watching the back of the van, you seeing Kennedy. Look the UNC counselor. I'm taking everybody through the flood. So I want Kazim to know that my loyalty on what side I am on have nothing and must not affect your performance as the Minister of Local Government. You are elected to serve the people, and despite what side Victor Roberts on, I am calling on you, Mr. Minister, to serve the people and perform your duty without fear or without favor, something that you swear on the Quran to do. I ain't looking for no friend in relation to service. I ain't looking for no CPEP contract. I ain't looking for no salary when the month come, Mr. Minister. I ain't looking for no URP gang. I am simply looking straight out in the interests of the people in my constituency. That is why, even though I was not victorious at the polls, it could not have interfered with my behavior. You know why? Because before the polls, I was helping people. And after the polls, I will continue to help people. Let me tell you something. You know why I am a lifetime member of the United National Congress? Let me help all you to understand. All who believe that the PNM is the African party, and all who believe that I, as an African, have to support the PNM, let me help you out today. Within the 5 years of Kamla Prasad Bisesa she has outdone every prime minister in this country. Kamala, within that 5-year period, has outdone every prime minister in deliverance, in delivery in this country. Everyone. I am saying to you people today that I stand strong as a member of the UNC. And forget about me, Stephen McClatchy. I'm coming to you just now. But on the topic, forget about me. Forget about it is not too late for me to come over. Come over where? I have one place to go over. And I don't know when that time may reach. It may be very well soon, or it may be very well long down the road. When I had to go over is onto the other side of this life. It had no coming over with Victor Roberts. You can't give me no field officer work. Let me tell you something. My family know that very well. They have no price for me. Let me tell you something. I like a old Bedford, you know. When you hear you crank me up with that crank in front, and you hear I start to idle, better than all you to cut me off. So I was offered some numbers to contact the minister. Some people tell me, boy, see all way you could get from him. Some people tell me, look, take where you could get and fix yourself. Some people say all kind of thing. Let me tell you something. Until you people in this Trinidad and Tobago understand that politics must not be about the representative fixing themselves. Politics must be about the representatives fixing the people and the communities. That is what it must be about. So while they get a nice ride where they could keep the boots and the boxers dry, we travel down because Minister of Local Government, Kazem Hussein, he too decided, well, he in the area and he want to go down by the house. But hear this, ladies and gentlemen. How would you structure this? Minister Kazem Hussein, how soon would this bridge, the engineers will come down to examine this bridge to ensure that this structure, it is not structural damage and it is not structural compromise, whereby vehicles that pass here will be able to continue passing. How you like this? Well, I will report to the minister. This is not under my jurisdiction, but I will talk to the Minister of Works and Transport. And then he will have to send his people out to look at the bridge. So Kazem Hussein, where you come down Palaseko for? To see Victor Roberts? To see if you could soften up Victor Roberts? To see if you could get Victor Roberts to stop talking the truth about the PNM? Where you come Palaseko for? If you cannot do anything about the bridge in Palaseko, what you come Palaseko for? What you come down there for? If it's Rohan Sinanan who have to deal with that bridge, what you come Palaseko for? To campaign? So you can't do nothing about the bridge. Rohan Sinanan had to send a team, but you come down here posing for pity. Tell me something. Talk to me. Talk to me, cuz. Talk to me. So you can't do nothing, but you come in and take out picture, right? On social media, on the papers and so on. But Kazem got to send a team. So that's how the game playing. Fool and Brea again. fooling the constituency of La Brea again. But hear what? La Brea like to be fooled. So if La Brea like to be fooled, fool them, minister, fool them. So, we journey down to Rancho Quemado. Kazem Hussein, Kennedy, came off the vehicle and they go on and talk to the lady who lost her husband. So they go on and talk to the lady. After they done talk to the lady, McClashy sitting down in a Prado. So here Kazem, we McClashy. Here Kennedy, he in the Prado. Here Kazem, all you call him. Here Kennedy, but how much time we go call him? Here Kazem, so McClashy ain't coming there, he constituency, you know. Hear me, here Victoria Watts. I said I go deal with McClashy bitter on the live Tuesday. Facts, no fiction. I said I'm going to deal with McClashy. He's sitting in a Prado. This is his constituency. He's sitting in a Prado. Let me tell you what happened. Everybody load up and we drive out. When we going down the road now, big water. Stuart Young allegedly called Kazem Hussein, because I say allegedly because Kazem Hussein say Stuart called him and he had to go because it had disaster up there too in his constituency. So he said, Victor, here what I want you to do for me. I want you to give my important call because we have to talk. And I smiled. I said, don't worry, you go hear from me. Well, he hearing from me today. Eh? He hearing from me today. So he left and he gone. But apparently, that when he leave and he walking going back to catch his vehicle because it was on my vehicle, he had to pass McClashy vehicle. So I don't know if he hit McClashy 2 uppercut, a Chinese chop, 1 drop kick, and a flip on the back. But next thing, McClashy gone back by the house. And he posed up on social media. I went and extend condolences to the bereaved family. You hear what I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? This is facts.
Right, yes, people. So I'm happy to report still that Tiantec reached on the scene.
Didn't flip him on the back. All now, that woman would have still been waiting for that condolences, but let's move on. So I saw him
how things? Yeah, good.
That he went. And that is good.
Right, so Tiantec is on the scene now.
You get a drop kick.
As the saying go, better late than never. Tiantec is here.
Right.
And they are securing the live wires.
Well, if he didn't go then, he went
down in Lucio. We are making an appeal on behalf of the residents in this area. I have shown you the houses that is completely destroyed, and now I am asking you good folks who wishes to donate any type of foodstuff, any kind of foodstuff to this area. The people is in need. You could call me at 316-4468. I will be happy to pick it up. Or you are also free to bring it down. That is the Irie Road in Lucio. It's a road you can't miss. It's as you come into Lucio Beach, and I know everybody know where Lucio Beach is situated. And you could come down and bring whatever foodstuff. So we are happy to report that Tiantec is here, and they are taking good care of whatever live wires that were loose on the road. the ODPM,
People in trouble
everybody.
when we reach.
And the persons that we
guess
had
what?
responding was
Ladies
the
and
management
gentlemen,
unit from the Super
I
Regional
want to tell the
Corporation, and I give
council for
kudos to them.
Palosico that
They
line is
came
still
and
a
they
sin.
brought mattresses,
I know she used to go
tarpaulin,
to church, I know she drop
the
off.
Burgesses or the citizens
But I
of
want to
Hill
tell the
would
council
have
that
been
line is
able
still
to
a
have a
sin.
little tarpaulin, a shelter over their head where they could have secured
I could tell
some
you what
kind of
time the
rescue.
councillor
Under
reached.
this devastation, there's
The
nothing like a
councillor
comfortable
reached when
rest.
me and my daughter
That is
was
the
leaving.
Tell us how many houses damaged.
And
far,
when
we
me
have
and my
12
daughter was
houses. We
leaving,
have
we
approximately
remained on the site until
them
T&Tech
totally
reached
destroyed,
because there was
and
live
the rest of them,
wire
about 7,
exposed
that
along the
serious
roadway that
So,
we have
of
shown
course,
you
today
on the
I
live.
saw the Minister of
We
Labour,
show you that.
and I want to say this too at the same time.
So we were
I am
showing
quite
you
much
what was
disappointed
happening.
to see that we are
And me
praying
and my
for
daughter
people to
remained
bring
there,
food into the
making
area.
calls.
And everybody come with their hands singing,
Calling
including
the police,
minister.
calling everybody.
And in this
And I had
situation,
planned to get the
including
police some
him,
blows
with
today,
not a
you know.
hamper. If this had happened in Port
I did plan to get the police some licks today.
you would have seen trucks with hamper.
But you see,
following behind.
as I say, we
And
is
this
about
how
facts,
sad
not
it is.
fiction.
This morning again,
So
I have
what
to
I
commend
did,
the super
I spoke to a certain corporal.
because they saw it fit. to
And it's
bring
then I
some help
understand
under the astute leadership
the
of
police-
this time of
Listen.
Mr. Singh. And I really say hats off to
Fitzgerald
them
Hines,
for
let me tell
understanding
you
the
something.
situation and
Fitzgerald
doing the
Hines, I want to tell you
necessary to
something.
ensure that the people get a meal this
The
morning.
police in Erie only have one vehicle. The police in Erie have one vehicle. Stop Sunday
who live in here to
and
move
tie up
those
the
stuff.
police vehicle
Well, it's not
bumper.
wrong, and we come in late last week.
Because they pass through little water
he
to
wasn't here
respond to
yesterday.
emergency.
Right?
This is policing. This is policing in our URP gang Fitzgerald Hines. We had to stop this week.
But I already saw you
We
move
had
with
to
the
stop.
gas
What did we
because
stop?
yesterday I asked people to secure everything when I come in.
We had to stop
I tell the people
Sunday
who live in here to
and
move
tie up
those
the
stuff.
police vehicle
Well, it's not
bumper.
wrong, and we come in late last week.
Because they pass through little water
he
to
wasn't here
respond to
yesterday.
emergencies.
He wasn't here yesterday.
At the bumper, the water lick off one side of the
When I
bumper.
come, I tell
Rain falling, bucket a drop. We stop and assist the police and tie up the bumper so that they could go about their business. That is unacceptable, Fitzgerald Hines. Stop bumping your pink gum. I know some part black. Stop bumping your gum all about and do the job that you are elected to do. Watch my friend Makache. Hey, Makache, look your partner, boy. I'm coming at you again, Makache, boy. 2025, I'm coming. Watch me, boy. Look the team. Kazem Hussein, Kennedy. Watch the team. The only man was missing was Councillor Bowen because he had to respond to another area. So he had to jump off the van and cut road. But this is the situation in Erie. How come this day and age we still have police station? And I know somebody will tell me when they have two vehicles and one in the garage. But if they one in the garage, how one standby? This is policing. This is policing in our URP gang Fitzgerald Hines. Release money to Gary Griffith. Release money. I don't want to wait on to appoint back the man, you know, because the man is one of the best at hats in all the jokers that passed for the last time. Half of them was PNM. Half of them commissioner was PNM. We now have a commissioner, and probably that's why they might want to put him back, you know. They might want to put him back because they realize that he's stubborn too. You can't come and demand no politics on him. Some people say he's PNM, some people say he's UNC, some people say what they want. I say he's the commissioner of police. And when he step out of line and jump in political business, I'm waiting with my whip. But I am also saying it is about one of the best commissioner from my standpoint, from where I sit. Your opinion is your business. But from where I sit, is one of the better commissioner. And that is why probably there are problems now. They want to get somebody. But let me tell you something. I even hear, or they are talking easy.
brother.
I even hear that
So
there
what are
is
you making out tonight, buddy?
woman, a certain deputy woman who are here is a PNM, and I hear that the pick they want to put this woman, I think she name start with J and some title with A. I wonder if my friend Archie know who I'm talking about. I don't know if my friend Archie know who I'm talking about, but here she name start with J and it going down the last name is A. But I don't know if my producer here, Archie, I don't know if my producer here, Archie, know who I'm talking about. Archie, my producer now, my producer. I know it's not he, but I don't know if my producer, Archie, know who I'm talking about. But here the woman name start with J and the last name is A. So only work the maths out. Work the maths out. But I know my producer here, Archie. In no where he don't know who I talking about. All right? So ladies and gentlemen, to the end of the day, we assist the police in the time of that. So we come into the tornado. So we dump inside. Let me back up. I receive a call from an individual who is a hierarchy in national self-help. The individual called me and said, "Is this Mr. Roberts?" I said, "Speaking." "Mr. Roberts, we have seen the video. My CEO have spoken. He had made contact with the different representatives for the area, and we would like to come down in the area, but we are not sure exactly where we are going." So I said, "No problem, ma'am. I will leave off what I have to do, and I will make myself available to take you to the area." Ladies and gentlemen, you know what's the biggest shock I get? I don't get shocked, so you know. I swear it was a timber doll. A timber doll is an electric eel. I swear it's an electric eel hit me. When I saw McClashy park up, waiting to be led in RE Road in Losiro, which is part of his constituency. Ladies and gentlemen, you believe that McClashy didn't know how to find part of his constituency? Well, that was the biggest joke coming down the road. So I park up at Oseko Junction, and 3 vehicles came from self-help, another vehicle come, and everybody journeyed down the road, only to find out that Stephen McClashy had no clue where he was going. Don't blame McClashy, no. Don't blame my partner McClashy at all. Blame them who vote for him. That is who we have to blame. Blame them who vote for him. Because you vote for a man who don't even know the constituency. I wonder what kind of shotgun screening process that the PNM carry out. Had to be a shotgun, because I know part of your screening, you have to identify your boundaries, you have to identify how much polling stations, you have to identify the number of your electorates, you have to do something. But they vote for a man who don't even know his constituency. But get what? So I took everybody along. Long big convoy behind the monster going in the road. And watch, you talk about pothole, and here what doing them. They're so close, are driving straight up to the pothole and are pulling away. So by the time the second vehicle passes, the third one falling in, bradang, and are saying, yes, break a spring. Straight, are going up to a major, next big pothole. And I just gone over it. And only hear behind, boom, bang, I saying, yes, break a spring. You know why I do them that? When McClashy Prado dropped down in the hole, and I'm watching him every mirror, so he bunks up high, I swear he hit the roof. I say, good one. You know why? so they could understand what we, the people in Trinidad and Tobago, going through. You know what the sad thing about it? It's only then and then when I reach, I hear the saying that them vehicle is company vehicle and them vehicle is government vehicle. I say, oh Lord, well, I put trouble on myself because if they break a spring, it's my taxpayers' money. I have to go back to fix it. So I start to drive different now. I start to point and show them pothole because I want them break no spring again because we got to pay. So we going up on the hill.
Yeah,
we going up on the hill, ladies and
Tell me,
gentlemen.
say what you're saying,
Right up
sister.
there. So Stephen come out and he come by yours truly. And here's Stephen. If you notice, I see the press CNC3. All your dog, I go deep with all you just now. All your dog. You know what they cut out? They cut out the editors, you know, not the cameraman and them, you know. All the camera people and the field people were sending what they take, you know, is the editors that cut it up to make the PNM look good. So hear what McClasher say, and I quote. McClasher said, he said, hear what? I want to thank the local activists and the community for the job that they're doing down in this area, bringing us aware of all that is going on. He said, because when I first know what was happening, I saw it on the video. But you know what? You know Stephen McClashy have a field officer that collecting government money. He have a field officer that collecting taxpayers' money. But guess what? He was able to see what was happening off of a video that was posted by us. And we are thankful for that. But I'm showing you how the thing working. So to the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, McClashy stood up and he said, look, we appreciate what was doing. You know what the councillor said? The councillor for Palo Seco say, MP, I wouldn't agree with you. The MP, she said, MP, I would not agree with you. And you know why that she wouldn't agree? Because I continue to expose all the negatives, and I can't say positive because there is nothing positive to report. When I report it out there, I report fairly. I report what they do, I report what they didn't do. But the problem is there's nothing to report that they do. Absolutely nothing. So if there is nothing to report, what would you have me to do? Make up some kind of fiction? I cannot. So McClashy was saying that he was pleased with what he was seeing happening. And he also said to me, he hoped that we could work, but are on the wrong side. I don't know what side had to do with it. I don't know if I had to go in the front of him, or in the back of him, or the next door by him, or what part of him. I don't know what side he talking about that I had to be on for we to be on the same side. I am on the side of the people. And if you are on the side of the people, McClashy, you don't need to worry about Victor Roberts. But if, as I take a 1 minute break, if you are not on the side of the people, McClashy, then you need to understand that we are on the wrong side. So let me just drink some water and I'll be back. Producer.
Douglas Politics, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. sharp. We foolish. Imagine a foolish man, a silly man, an idiotic man calling the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago foolish. A man who's foolish since 1969. A man who's foolish as Minister of Housing, 2003, November to 2007, building houses in Greenvale for people to drown and flood out. A man who's foolish and cutting procurement legislation. A man who foolish and went in parliament and lie on a sitting prime minister and government ministers. A man who foolish and coming to extend curfew and state of emergency when we dead in, shut down, locked down and broke down because of one fool. We are one fool away from total devastation, and that fool is the Prime Minister. Douglas politics. This thing getting out of hand. Douglas politics. Friday night, 7:30 p.m.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a matter about side. This is a matter that you are the elective representative for Brea, and you must do your job. I am fed up doing the job of the member of parliament. Fed up. Every Monday morning, I had to respond within the community, within the constituency. It's problem after problem after problem after problem, and you cannot find the member of parliament. You know the member of parliament, together with the team, came down by this disaster, and them wicked devils in walk with a hamper. Let me tell you something. These people in walk with one hamper. It took the chairman of the disaster management unit in the Super Regional Corporation to organize 6 hampers to give the 6 most affected individuals in Ari Road. You have 12 houses impacted by damage, and to the end of the day, you telling me that the member for parliament didn't see it fit to get the Minister of Agriculture involved and bring hampers to the people in Ari Road? You will tell me that, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, we had a situation with an oil spill this week in Carapal, again in the constituency of Brea, where heritage personnel instructed individuals that they cannot light stove nor cook their food. And you will tell me that these people had to pass almost 2 days without anything to eat.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You could tell me we have a member of parliament and oil continue to run down our rivers, damaging the farmers, mashing up the seabed and the livelihood of the fishermen and herring. And to the end of the day, nothing whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, I am saying to you that this PNM administration is simply about public relations. We have had Clarence Rambarat in 2018, another failure up in the same Ari Road in Losiro, where we had a devastation by earthquake. Rambarat came down and make all kind of promises. He promised them this, and he promised them that, and he promised them that, promised them that. Promise. From 2018 to now, they have never seen Clarence Rambarat again. Never. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had flood, serious flooding last year. All kind of posts by the member of parliament. Relief is coming. Relief is coming. Well, when I hear relief is coming, I realize that the relief them talking about is when you're going to work and somebody else coming to relieve you. That's what them talking about. Because the only thing happening is different people coming all the time and nothing coming. Super Regional Corporation bring down some mattress. And let me tell you this too, the mattress is bachelor mattress. If you're married, it makes sense to take one. Because your wife will sleep on it and you on the ground. It's bachelor matches. They're small and short, so the matches on them look like they make for midget. You hear what I'm telling you? They come and they give you some Clorox and some powder soap and some Breeze. Well, Breeze powder soap, the same thing. And they give you a little disinfectant. And here what they tell you, we have your name down. We set up your name. And well, watch. It have a song that says, sign my name with a golden pen, a golden pen. Well, I fed up people get a name signed in library. Every Monday morning they signed the name for something. And it could never reach. Clarence Rambarat is one of the biggest failure. I think Clarence Rambarat, Mark Lachey, Stuart Young, Fitzgerald Hines, all of them could go in the same bus. A bus with a ticket to OEOO. Enough gas to reach, to take up about 15 nautical miles out in the Pacific Ocean. Just enough gas to reach there. And make sure the bus has no glass. So it mustn't stay afloat for no long period. You could tell me, ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister speak about $300 billion that was spent. And the Prime Minister say he spent it on the people. He say he spent it on the people. I saw $1 billion plus already put aside for every drilling. I saw $1 billion because they realize all the days passing, the 90 days nearly passed, and no appeal. All they realize that. They're trying to disguise it all how by sending Kazem Hussein down here with a whole batch of media personnel. All that is to thief all your head and to thief all your eye and to thief all your mind away from the $1.3 billion that Bash and them go share up just now. That is what it is about. No word. So he spent $300 billion on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Watch the rivers. The last time the rivers was drenched and clear properly in our constituency was under Basdio Pandey. That was the last time. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had an incompetent government that continue to rule this country, and some of our people, I don't know what is wrong. It seemed as though that some of our brains gone down in this river. Some of our brains gone to the sea that we could never recover it. I think the fish and all that eat our brains, they die from stupidity. The fish that eat some of our brains, they die from stupidity. Because I am wondering, how stupid can people be in this country to support a government who do not support them? My producer telling me my time up, you know. I still have some points to deal with. So it look like we're going to have to continue this thing again. Ladies and gentlemen, how much more of this would you take? This government mash up the educational sector. Mash it up. And now we have Wiggy. Wiggy talking about this government is about education. Well, I understand. I understand. Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue this life. We will continue this life. Stay blessed, stay safe. I'm out.
Douglas Politics, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. sharp. We foolish. Imagine a foolish man, a silly man, an idiotic man calling the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago foolish. A man who foolish since 1969. A man who foolish as Minister of Housing 2003, November to 2007. Billing houses in Greenville for people to drown and flood out. A man who's foolish and cut in procurement legislation. A man who's foolish and went in parliament and lied on a sitting prime minister and government ministers. A man who's foolish and coming to extend curfew and state of emergency when we dead in, shut down, locked down and broke down because of one fool. We are one fool away from total devastation, and that fool is the Prime Minister. Dogra politics. This thing getting out of hand. Dogra politics. Friday night, 7:30 p.m.
Dogra politics. We don't get no